What is going on, everybody, and welcome back once again. My name is Jordan, also known as JMonster, and I want to thank you for joining me in my weather balloon atop of Edoras. And we're going to watch a 3 versus 4 siege go down. I know many of you have been hungry for a siege. Well, here it is. And by the time we're done, the city of Edoras is going to be positively poisonous with the corpses of the slain and the dying. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the army comps. We're going to start with the defenders, and just because they are so spread out, I'm just going to call the units as I see them along with the players. So the first army I suppose we're going to look at today, or at least parts of it in any case, is the army of Umbar, being commanded by D.F. Belisar. He's brought some Naru Royal Guard, which is a shielded spear and bow hybrid unit, which is a general's bodyguard. Gives a lot of morale to units nearby. Got 2 units of Corsair Blackguards. I don't think they're both crammed into this one little area, but there are definitely 2 of them. Over here, we have one of the first detachments of the Mirkwood army, commanded by Thick Dick. That's thoroughly inappropriate. And he's got a unit of Yari Thalion Inanwaith, who are real sexy. Probably one of the best 2 HP non-bodyguard units in the game. Over here we got some Casimir's Legion, commanded again by D.F. Belisar. He's got, I believe, 3 units of them, the full complement, 3 or 4. Got some Yari Arguay Inanwaith. Then we've got one of the vestiges of the Linden army, pardon me, being commanded by Baconfish 302. He's brought himself a High Elven Catapult, which is, I believe, the only artillery beast on the battlefield today. We got some Aberzanim Nardu Bawib, who are unupgraded. They do not have their armor upgrade. Some Aradurith Amon Like, which is a nice little hybrid unit here. AP Axe unit, one of the few AP units that that Mirkwood has available to them. And yeah, they're really nice. They can hide anywhere, but you can't hide units in sieges, so they unfortunately lose that capability. Over here we got some Harlandon Guard for Baconfish. Some Mythalon Marines. I believe we've got 2 companies of Mythalon Marines. Yeah, there they are, 1, 2. Delupangium and Weird. This is an Elven Ranger unit, so very sexy. Very deadly in a siege like this, where you're going to have large numbers of enemies funneling themselves into small areas. Harlandon Guard here, 2 units of Harlandon Guard. 1 unit of Mythalon Pikemen for Linden as well. Hiri Lang, Maithari Lasgalan. I think there's 2 units of Maithari Lasgalan, some Hiri Peng. I got some Corsair Pikemen for Umbar, some Hiranek, 4 Lindon Marines, Corsair Archers, Corsair Pikemen, a lot of Harlandon Infantry, because it wouldn't be a Lindon army without these guys, would it? Would it? No, it wouldn't. Another unit of the Noldorn Guard here, so that's 2 companies in total. 4 Lindon Marines, I believe he's got 1 unit of 4 Lindon Marines. Some more Hiranek, Mythalon Pikemen, and hold on, let's go around this back street here. 4 Lindon Archers, Harlandon Infantry, more 4 Lindon Archers. More Corsair Archers, a lot of missile units for the defenders. And honestly, a map like Edoras really plays well on missile-heavy builds if you are the defenders. And for the attackers as well, but it's a little bit easier for the defenders because they have the high ground. More Harlandon Infantry, and I think that's all for the Harlandon Infantry. Got some 4 Lindon Pikemen as well. And then we got some Hiri Auth, Masters of War, if you were curious. I know many of you are. Aberzanim Nardu Tariq, a AP unit that's actually pretty damn sexy. Their biggest drawback is that they can't, they don't have a lot of numbers, but they are able to form shield wall as well, which is a nice little added functionality. So a unit like this is great for counter pushing in a siege, especially. And then we got some more Hiri Auth, and on this side, Numenorian Shield Guard. So sexy. Everyone's just caked in snow. That's the weather effects working overtime. Mythalon Pikemen, I think we've seen them already. And then I got another company of Aberzanim Nardu Tariq down here. And then the first line of defense, the Corsair Pikemen, as it usually is with an Umbar army. And I think that does it for the defenders. Nope, I am completely incorrect. Got some Yardabran Inanwaith, which I believe is the general's bodyguard. So you can see Thranduil there with his impractically held dual-wielding longswords, which are nearly as big as he is, so it's kind of hilarious. He's like Conan. More Corsair Pikemen, Corsair Blackguards, so there's a second company right there. Did we mention the Naru Sentinels? Pretty sure we did. No, we might not have. Naru Sentinels and some Casimir's Rangers. I'm pretty sure that does it, unless they've got some hidden... Well, no, they can't hide any units, so I'm pretty sure that does it for the defenders. Let's go ahead and take a look what Team Red, the attackers, are bringing to the battle today. The first attacking army we're going to look at today is the forces of Rune, being commanded by Lucky Hussar. He's brought some Eastron Clansmen. I'll let you guys get a good look at them right there. That's what they look like with their armor upgrade. It's pretty neat. He's also got some Eastron Hunters. I believe 2 units of Eastron Hunters, some Varag Mercenaries. 1 unit of Eastron Clan Chiefs. Always a good idea to bring a unit of cavalry in an offensive siege. 1, 2 max, just in case your opponents decide they want to do something dodgy and rush you with cav. If you don't have any cavalry, well, you can end up losing a lot of really important stuff, as has happened to me in the past many times. Another 2 companies here of Eastron Clansmen. Then in behind them, we got the meat and potatoes of the Runic army. Oh, what do you know? We got some more clansmen here. This is what they look like with their second armor upgrade. Pretty damned nice, if I do say so myself. Not that I had anything to do with creating that model, but, you know, it's neat. Anyway, moving on. Eastern Clansmen and some Lokamp 1, 2, 3 Lokamp. Really strong unit, actually. They're halberds. Got some pushing units here in the form of Loksai and Rim, who are also Inspire units. So very useful for keeping some of the lower tier units like the Eastern Clansmen in line. And then finally we have the Lok Flag Rim, who are an AP mace unit. Their attack values are a little bit lower, but their defense values are really quite high. Mace units tend to be pretty low on their damage. They've got a lower base damage than other units like, say, swords or axes. But they are AP, so always a nice thing to have. So against lower melee skill units, and there's a fair amount of them in there, they'll be particularly effective. Just gotta keep them away from the elves. And then finally, we've got some Kamul's Chosen, which is where the general is going to be hanging out. And of course, you'd want to hang out with these guys. Like, look at this. This is obviously the cool kids crowd among the Runic army. Well, that does it for Lucky Hussar. Let's move on to his ally, which I believe is Lothlorien, commanded by DF Lister, or Leister. I think it's Lister. Lister is probably the right way of saying it. Although, you know, if that's wrong, please yell at me. But don't actually yell at me. Anyway, he's got some Lothlorien spears. 2 units of Lothlorien spears, I think. Some Lothlorien blades. They're going to be pushing the ram. Another unit of Lothlorien blades. 2 units of Ethil Tirith. Or maybe it's just 1 unit of Ethil Tirith, really spread out. There's a second company of Lothlorien spears. Lothlorien Swordmasters. Out to the wazoo. 2 companies of them. Karis Galathon Guardians. A great unit to bring in a siege like this. They're a 2 HP pike unit, and they are far and away the best pike unit in the game. You do not want to mess with these guys from the front. And we got some May 30 Last Gallon. I believe there's 2 companies of May 30 Last Gallon. One here, one on the other wing. Lothlorien archers, and some Galathrim nobles, and then finally, some Sindar archers, who are they're an interesting unit. 1 second. Pardon me, allergies. They're really killing me today. They're going to be getting a shield value. Actually, a lot of the Elven units are going to be getting a shield value, since I saw an interesting suggestion in the comments, and I thought that it would be a fun thing to try out, so we're going to try and test with that for a little while and see how it goes. And these guys will be one of the units that are getting them. The Galathrim nobles will not, however. So one of the things that distinguishes them from the Galathrim nobles is the fact that, 1, they cause fear, 2, they inspire units around them with a huge morale buff, so any Elven units nearby, the Sindar archers, they are not going to break. It is nearly impossible to break them, and they've got more ammunition than the Galathrim nobles, trade-off being that they have less numbers. But, in any case, let's move on now. I think that does it for Lothlorien, so let's move on to the 3rd attacking army. We have the forces of Isengard being commanded by DF Declan Gardner. He's brought some Dunlending Clansmen, 2 units of Dunlending Clansmen who are going to be manning his rams. Out in front, bunch of Uruk-hai infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4 Uruk-hai infantry. And then I believe 3 units of the Uruk-hai pikemen as well. So a nice solid core here of Uruk-hai, which is really what Isengard tends to build themselves around. 1 unit of Work Skirmishers, because again, cavalry, good thing to have. Trolls of the White Hand, sexy, sexy. Nazak-hai, who are they're a Berserker unit. Though it looks like they have like shark eyes at the moment, those like weird white eyes because of the weather effects doing their thing. Basically they're a Berserker unit with better damage and far better armor. Very, very scary indeed. They also cause fear. 2 units of Uruk-hai crossbows. Let's take a look and enjoy this this custom model here for the Uruk-hai crossbows, which I believe is unique to Reforged, so you will not find this anywhere else. And yeah, they look like they do from the movies, so it's a nice little addition there. And then moving on, we've got a unit of Lurtz's Hunting Pack, who are 2 HP Rangers with a lot of armor. So they are everything that you'd want your Rangers to be. The only big drawback to them is that they don't have a lot of numbers. They've only got 53 in the unit as opposed to the 100, which your average Ranger unit will be sporting. Let's move on now to the 4th and final attacking army. We have the forces of Dale being commanded by new player 195. But don't let his name fool you. He is actually not all that new, at least not anymore. He's got 3 units of Barding Herd, 1 company of the Jirian's Paladins, who are going to get a nice little MD buff in the upcoming patch, but right now they are still very nasty. Those 2-handed maces really make them a force to be feared. 2, I think 3 companies of the Earls of Esgaroth. Yes, indeed. 1, 2, 3. A bunch of Laketown infantry. 1, 2, 3, 4. Some civilians, which maybe were some leftover money. I don't know if I would have gone with the civilians, honestly. I don't find them all that useful. At least not in a siege battle. A couple units of the Laketown Bowmen. 1 unit of the Dalian Marksmen. Some Laketown Pikemen here as well. Just 1 unit of Laketown Pikemen and a unit of Dalian Cavalry. And that just about does for the army comps. Let's go ahead and get into the replay. Well, it looks like the first into the fray is going to be Lothlorien. They're going to take some fire really early on from some of the Forlindon archers who are cowering behind their wooden walls. And, yeah, pew-pewing at them and trying to wear them down a little bit. But honestly, the Lothlorien spears are not a great target. They've got really good armor. Well, not really good armor, but they've got 8 armor and 8 shield value. So that's a lot for a 6 damage archer unit to shoot down from the front. Elsewhere, Lothlorien Blades manning the other ram. Etheltirith returning the favor against the Forlindon archers, and doing pretty well against them, honestly. On the outside of the walls, the skirmish fight I would give to... Ooh, lag. No, that's not very fun. The skirmish fight I would give to the Etheltirith, just because they're able to line themselves up in a large line, whereas necessarily the defenders are a little bit more cramped, so it's easier to get more kills off on them. Over here, got some Corsair archers. I don't know what they're doing. They seem to be fleeing back up towards the top of the hill. It might be that they're being redeployed to the other side. But yeah, Lothlorien coming in a real big way. Got 2 rams, 3 rams, in fact, on the way. 2 of them being manned by the Lothlorien spears, 1 by the Lothlorien rams. And their ally, Hussar, is coming in at the same time. Which is what you want to do, isn't it? You don't want to just let your allies go in on their own and get butchered. Nobody will thank you for that. So yeah, the first 2 armies into the first ring of Edoras is going to be Lothlorien and Rune. So that's going to be an interesting fight there. They're going to be squaring off against Linden and a little bit of everything really from the defenders. Over here we got Isengard, who I'm not too sure what Isengard is doing. It seems like they've abandoned their ram entirely, which is a little bit strange. I don't know why they'd be doing that. Maybe there's just like a logistics issue here, and it looks like Isengard is actually trying to turn themselves around. Dale, unfortunately, because of the deployment, deployed quite a ways back. So they're moving forward as quickly as they can, but honestly, your army can really only move at the speed of its slowest member, so those rams are really going to slow them down quite a lot. I mean, there's no mechanical thing that says that they can't, but you don't want to separate your army into little pieces. It's just generally not a good idea. So it looks like Hussar has arrived at the walls with his skirmishing forces, got some Eastern hunters here. They're going to begin duking it out with the Corsair archers on the inside. Meanwhile, the Eastern clansmen plodding forward with their rams. Not really coming under a lot of defending arrow fire. Of course, I say that, and then they start getting shot by arrows. Let's see. It looks like Lothlorien is through the first line of defense here, or at least through the outer wall. Pardon me, guys. Yeah, my allergy is really killing me. Lothlorien, meanwhile, battering down the other side of the wall, making multiple breaches into the city, which is smart siege tactics. You don't want to just funnel yourself into one area, especially in Reforged. We've got a lot of tools that really punish people for their positioning. And that way, I guess it's a lot like Warhammer. So if you bunch up rangers or javelins or artillery or something nasty is going to be coming your way, and you're not going to like it. Artillery volleys over on the other side, surprisingly accurate. Look at that. Taking a beautiful bite out of this Loke Flag rim. Just a big burning pile of what was previously elite infantry. Pardon. Meanwhile, Lucky Hussar almost at the walls, and I think that Isengard is getting close as well. Yes, indeed, the Dunlending clansmen have finally picked up the slack, and they are moving towards the outer walls of Edoras. They're going to begin to knock it down. All in all, you gotta give it to the attackers here. This is a nicely coordinated attack. Dale's going to get there last, just because of where Dale had to deploy, but Isengard and Rune basically have arrived at the wall at the same time, very, very shortly after Lothlorien. So now Lothlorien's going to move in. They're going to be squaring off against a phalanx of Corsair pikemen who, while not impressive individually, in their formations like this, they are very, very tough to break down, and they can hold at bay units that are far more expensive and far more deadly than they are. So it's really going to take more, I think, than just the spearmen to be able to batter their way through the defending forces here. Well, it looks like the spearmen are putting themselves in a shield wall, and they're going to be backed out with some Lothlorien blades. So D.F. Lister, one of the more veteran players on the Discord, is he definitely knows what he's about here. So you can see those spears just hammering their way in. Oh well, you were about to see it in any case. Blast their eyes! There we go. You can see them pushing in there. The Harlandon infantry trying to counter push. This is shaping up to be a pretty bloody matchup here. Harlandon infantry forming the first line of defense. Eastern clansmen, not really a match for them, but it will be enough to potentially hold them in place. and long enough for Rune to come in with some more important units. There you go, Isengard now battering down their section of the wall. We'll pop back on over here, over to this side in just a moment. I want to see what Dale is up to. Dale is almost at the gate. A lot of rams coming their way. So the outer wall of Edoras being turned into Swiss cheese by the attackers. Exactly what you want to do. Yeah, you don't want to funnel yourself into one area individual or en masse, because you will get yourself destroyed. Lothlorien spears engaging the Harlanon infantry over here, and they're really giving them what for. Especially backed up with those Lothlorien blades, they're going to hack their way through the Harlanon infantry with relative ease. Meanwhile, over here, the Lothlorien forces are coming under some pretty heavy fire by some supporting missile units up on the heights. Got 2 units of Harlanon archers up there, and they are raining down death and destruction upon DF Lister's forces. Got some May 3 Last Gallon over here, who are the subject of the tender mercies of those deadly elven bowmen up on the hill. Meanwhile, down on this side of the castle, things are really kicking off. Eastron Clansmen and some Lokgamp Rim charging the way in against the Harlanon infantry, but they're just there to hold the line. Harlanon Marines raining down hell upon the attacking Easterlings as they march their way through this wall here, and they're really not in a good position. They're going to get hacked down into little tiny pieces, but honestly, the Clansmen, it's not a huge loss. The Gamp Rim is a little bit more unfortunate, but if they're going to use up the entire ammunition pool of those Harlanon Marines on what is essentially some lower tier or mid-tier units, well, that's not so bad. Here in Eck, charging down, you can see that the defenders are doing their best to push back the attackers as they move in, trying to bottle them up and use their missile units to their best effect, which is exactly what you want to do. That's what their armies are built around, and that's what this map really lends itself to. Oop, Dale is now attacking their side. There's not really too many areas that they can get through there that are going to be useful. There's like a huge mountain in between them and the wall. But yeah, Flagrim and the Clansmen over here pushing hard against the Mithlond Pikemen. They are going to slowly but surely overrun this elven position. But again, the defending players are really just using these units to hold their enemies back and to give them a little bit of time to leverage their very strong missile contingents. Over here, Gamp Rim fighting hard against the Harlanon infantry, but they are getting bent over, unfortunately, because there's some Hiri in there as well, and they're completely surrounded. And unfortunately, there's no other means for them to get in there. Maybe if the Ram was brought over by some Scion Rim or by these Flag Rim here to batter into their hole in the wall so they could try and get around into the rear of the Hiri, but it seems like the Runic player, Lucky Hussar, is a little bit more content to fire into these Hiri, who are quite vulnerable to missiles. In general, Mirkwood, they have great missile units, but their armor values are quite low. Meanwhile, down from the heights, you can see the Abrazani Nardubawib and some other supporting missile units just pouring down fire. This is really going to be a bloodbath for the defenders, and for the attackers, and for the defenders alike, if we're being totally honest. There's a lot of missile companies right here. They're going to be able to do a lot of damage to these more expensive units here, like the Hiri Yelth. And the Harlanon infantry, on a good day, they are very feeble when it comes to standing up to arrow fire. So over here about the gatehouse, you can see the Lok Scion Rim getting ready and formed up for a shield wall push against these pikes in about the gatehouse. That's going to give, hopefully, Rune the impetus that they need to break through here and start to attack some of these missile units and begin to peel away that second line of defense for the defenders. Here in Experiment doing their best against the Eastern Clansmen, really reaping a terrible toll amongst the ranks of these lower tier Clansmen. They were at 180 before, whereas the Hirinek, I believe, started about 90. So the disparity here in terms of casualties is obviously very apparent. Got some Eastern Clan chiefs over here, looking like they want to get a piece of those Forlorn archers. These are spear cavalry, however, and their main job is to take on other cavalrymen. And because of their spear trait, they are not great against infantry. They have that spear malice. So I guess the Forlorn archers are actually not going to do all that well. Our potential rear charge here against the Corsair pikemen. Really, the clan chiefs are quite limited in what they can do. A nice rear charge here against the Harlanon infantry, but I don't think it went the way that Lucky Hussar really wanted it to. Might be a better idea to try and form up again, but there's not really a lot of room for that to happen. Seems like the Eastern Clan Chiefs did manage to pull away and get back to the safety of their own lines. But they're going to continue to just run these attacks here on their enemies. And that time they managed to drop their lances, so the Forlorn archers are actually going to take a fair amount of damage from that. Lucky Hussar doing everything that he can to try and relieve some of the pressure here. Ooh, that is a nasty hit from that catapult on the top there. That, I believe, is Baconfish's catapult. Coming down into the middle of this Eastron blob. Ooh, another hit like that, and we could see a mass rout here about the gatehouse, and that would put a real wrench into the plans of Lucky Asar as he tries to push through. But let's go ahead and slow things down a little bit. Oh, there it is! I think we're going to see that rout. Oh, followed up with a second one. Yes, indeed. Ooh, a third one there. All three of them hit. We're going to see some mass breaking about the gatehouse. And with that, things hanging in the balance there for the attackers. Let's go ahead and pop over to the other side and see how Isengard and Lothlorien are doing. You can see Isengard and Lothlorien here pushing together, trying to overrun the Aber's enemy Nardutari. They're going to be able to do that quite efficiently. But those missile units, again, it's the missile units from the defenders that are really keeping things together and making the attackers pay for every inch of ground despite their numerical superiority. Just raining down death and destruction into this blob of units here. Meanwhile, over the other side, looks like Dale has been pushing with some Lake Town infantry against the Hiri Alth of all things, and the Hiri Alth are just going to destroy these guys. It's not even going to be fun. I think the only real casualties here for the Hiri Alth are going to come from a little bit of friendly fire, actually, from the missile units up on the heights. Elsewhere, Dale has moved in with some of their skirmishers. Dalian Marksmen, very tanky skirmish unit, but they've really gotten chewed up a lot just by the sheer number of the defending skirmishers present up there on the heights. They have a better firing angle as well. So the Dalian Marksmen, they're going to be at a pretty severe disadvantage. I'm not surprised that they got destroyed quite quickly. Over here, the Aber's enemy Nardutarik hanging out with some Corsair pikemen who are, I believe, being shot down by the Dalish Marksmen, or maybe by the Lake Town Bowmen. But Dale has really yet to commit. The civilians just kind of hanging out. It's like I don't know, the civilians were just kind of along for a ride. It's like a music festival out here. They're just, chilling, not really doing anything important. So with that, let's pop on over to the other side and see how Rune is dealing with that mass rout about the gate. It looks like the Casimir's Legion, along with some of the Forlorn Marines, have actually pushed outside of the walls, being very aggressive, trying to keep the Eastern forces on the run. I think we're going to see a lot of these guys reform, though. There's a fair amount left. Maybe not the small unit of clansmen, but those Scion Rim are definitely going to come back, and indeed they do reform. Meanwhile, over here, Variag Mercenaries, point-blank shot into the Forlorn Marines. Ooh, that would be nasty indeed. Forlorn Marines attacking the Loke Flag Rim from the rear. Looks like, oh, there's a Runic Chariot. I didn't even know. Runic Chariot just running amok in the back of the Mirkwood lines. They have a really nasty charge. You can't keep them in combat for too long, but Lucky Asar is using them the way that they are meant to be used. Charging through these Forlorn archers while they are pinned in place, and you can just see them begin to drop there. Just so much damage being done to those Forlorn archers. I think they were at like 71, then they dropped down to 60 in just a matter of moments because of that charge. Really nasty indeed. Let's see what we got here. Forlorn Marines. Oh yeah, getting charged in the rear by those Runic War Chariots. That's going to be nasty for them. And that's going to relieve a lot of pressure, of course, on the front lines here. Those Lothlorien units and the Isengarders were really in a bad spot because of the presence of those Forlorn Marines able to do a lot of damage to them. So many of them died, and now they're going to have to retreat up the hill under heavy arrow fire. So great job there on the part of Lucky Asar, really playing the field and keeping his enemies busy in many different places. And we got some Eastron Hunters. Some Corsair Archers charging in here against the Gamp Rim, trying to support the Casimir's Legion, who have got the Scion Rim pinned at the gate. That's going to be an easy fight there for the Casimir's Legion, especially in the numbers that they are in, but even more so given the positioning here of those two units relative to one another. Hiri Peng now having been committed, and that's really the end of the pride and joy of Rune's infantry force. You can see the Loke Flag Rim now breaking, fighting to the death. Those Forlorn Marines still outside the walls, but they're not long for this war. Against the Variag Mercenaries and the Eastron Hunters, they're not going to be able to exchange blows with them for too long. And I think there's another unit of Lucky Asars that I missed. Yes, indeed, got some Balkoth Sapphire Bladesmen, some really nasty Javelin units that can be used to great effect. Over here, it looks like some reinforcements from Mirkwood came down here. Eventually, some Hiranek pushing against the Lothlorien Blades, and the Lothlorien Spearmen are still in there. Lothlorien Spearmen took a lot of damage, but the Lothlorien Blades are still in good shape. They're just very tired. So the defenders the attackers rather, are breaking through the defenders on this side. But over in the center, it seems like the defenders really kind of have things more or less under control. Campbell's Chosen now being committed. Corsair Archers not having a great time here against those Campbell's Chosen, backed up with some Eastron Hunters. So it's, oh yeah, the Campbell's Chosen actually came into the rear against Casimir's Legion, so that's going to be two expensive units for Umbar that are going to get hacked to pieces. And over on this side, it's still very much in favor of the defenders. A little bit, guys. Great, mercenaries now charging in against what remains of the Harlow infantry. Just trying to keep these guys busy, prevent them from reinforcing elsewhere. Although it looks like some of the Hiri Peng might have been pulled off. Now they're coming in here against the Lothlorien archers, so it's an archer fight here, an elven archer fight. And it would be normally a very even fight, but the Lothlorien archers are a little bit less numerous. Although, I think there's some missile fire. Hiri Peng really taking it on the chin there. Meanwhile, over on this side, Dale has pushed forward with their civilians in the vanguard. I guess they're just trying to wear down their enemies here. The Lake Town pikemen also moved in as well, alongside some Earls of Esgaroth. So it is a fairly serious push here, backed up with these 2 units of bowmen, some Lake Town infantry as well. That will be able to be thrown in there eventually. Lake Town infantry over here, some Snaga skirmishers, just giving it to those Hiri-Yalth. And it looks like they're going to try and flee, but those Snaga skirmishers are going to make them pay for every step. Oh yeah, that constant damage. It seems like the Hiri-Yalth, instead of running away, they're going to go right after the Snaga skirmishers, and that's going to oblige Declan Gardner to pull them out of there as quickly as possible. The Lake Town infantry are going to hold the line and give those Snaga skirmishers an opportunity to retreat. And I guess the Hiri-Yalth, these guys don't really have much of a chance. But if those Snaga skirmishers were pulled off, say, and put on this hill here, they would be able to fire down into the Hiri-Yalth and deal a lot of damage to the Snaga skirmishers. I believe have their own problems being targeted by the Harlandon Guard up there in the hill. They're going to have to flee or risk being routed. Meanwhile, outside the wall, let's see what Isengard still has left. A lot. They have almost their entire army still here. And their meager commitment alongside Lothlorien has managed to make some pretty significant gains here. It looks like the defenders are going to be able to hold on to this area, but only for a little while. Once Isengard moves in with their reinforcements, and once Lothlorien comes in with some of their remaining forces as well, got some Lothlorien swordmasters moving in, and then the real heavy hitters, Karis Galathon Guardians, Galathram Nobles, and the Sindar Archers. Yeah, once they're committed, they'll be able to sweep aside these defenders and push their way out a little bit farther up the hill. Oh man, that catapult! Oh, nasty. Friendly fire there. Ooh, that's going to take a lot of Lothlorien units with them. And with that constant flaming damage coming in, which does cause morale shocks, the Lothlorien units, while very tired, we could actually see them break. It's not something you see from elite elven forces very often, but it is possible. It's definitely possible. Let's take a look over here at the Gatehouse. Camel's Chosen have made great headway against Casimir's Legion, who are very, very thin on the ground at this point. Hiri-Yalth over here, still holding the line. There's still some runic forces outside that they can't just abandon this area completely to. But reinforcements coming down the hill. Of course, they're Blackguards, Harlandon Guard. Ooh, some nasty shots there from the catapult. Let's see how that goes for them. Ooh, down into the... I think that took some of the Corsair pikemen with them, but it definitely took more of the Lothlorien units. Then it took the other units. Oh, Lothlorien Blades here, 49 of them potentially routing. I'm on the verge of wavering. Let's see what happens. Ooh, that's nasty. It's a lot of dead Lothlorien units. Could see these guys start to waver as well. Indeed. Corsair pikemen here being overwhelmed, but that catapult is really making it worth it for the defending forces. Over here, Corsair Blackguard rushing their way down the hill. I wonder who they're going to go after. Very clearly, the Camel's Chosen are going to try and general snipe here, which would be a terrible thing for Rune. Let's see what happens as Corsair units break. I really hope that Lucky Assar recognizes this danger. If he moves forward with his Casimir's Chosen, or not his Casimir's Chosen, his Camel's Chosen, and gets into those Corsair Blackguards, he could shut them down. He could kill half that unit before they're able to pull out and get back to the relative safety of the Hiri-Nek a little bit farther up there on the hill. He's going to move forward with his Eastron Hunters, although maybe they're just chasing the Corsair Archers. It could be possible that Lucky Assar does not see this this danger here. Now would be the perfect time for him to go after those Corsair Blackguards while they're pinned in place by the Eastron Hunters. In fact, I think the best thing to do would be to position his Camel's Chosen such that the Corsair Blackguard are between them and the catapult. So if that catapult wants to try and snipe out this elite general unit, then they're going to be it's very likely that they're going to be hitting some of their own Corsair Blackguard and causing some serious problems for them. Oh, the Corsair Blackguard's getting off their javelin volleys. That's going to be a nightmare for the remaining runic forces in and about the gatehouse. Let's go ahead and turn that up. Ooh, that catapult. Yeah, this is why you want to try and, if you can, use your enemies as cover, because stuff like that is going to happen. Oh, that's so nasty. That's like half the unit there that just got cut down. And there goes the runic general. A javelin volley from those Corsair Blackguards, viciously cutting him down. Let's go ahead and we're going to turn things down just a little bit here. Well, it seems like the Hiri-Yalth have now been pushed back. So might be that Lucky Assar manages to break through here and cause a little bit more damage to to Mirkwood and the remaining defending forces before he ultimately expires. What do we got here? Valkoth Sapphire Bladesmen tossing their javelins at the Corsair Blackguards while they're pinned in place by the Easterron Hunters. Lucky Asar getting a little bit of payback here for the destruction, the near destruction in any case, of his general's bodyguard. Another shot. Come on, one more. Then we'll pop over to the other side. Yeah, some nasty volleys there. I think that's going to be it for the Corsair Blackguard. They'll start to pull back soon enough. Let's pop over to the other side and see how Dale is doing. Oh, man. They've destroyed the representing Nardu Tariq for the most part. They are very thin on the ground at this point. There's only about 20 or so of them left. 31, yeah, close enough. But the Corsair Pikemen, in this kind of choke point battle, they're going to be able to stand up to this pretty well. Some missile units are going to be needed to dislodge this unit of Corsair Pikemen in a timely fashion before his more elite companies here, like his Heralds of Esgaroth, suffer undue damage in both numbers and fatigues. Fatigue is something you really want to manage very well because of the effects that it has on morale. Numenorian Shield Guard forming up over here, getting ready to move to the aid of the Corsair Pikemen. Or it might be that they're just forming up another shield wall here, forming up another blockade that the attackers are going to have to push their way through. Farther down here, Lake Town Bowmen getting pew-pewed by many of the Zelvin archers up there on the hill. Harlandon Guard. I think there's some Hiri Pang and some other units up there. Castamir's Rangers. Yeah, really a bad time to be a Lake Town Bowman. You can see quite a lot of them have fallen. Over here, Dalian Cavalry charging into the flank of the Corsair Archers. Corsair Archers going to fall away very, very quickly in this kind of situation, pinned in place by the anvil of the Isengard infantry and getting massacred by the hammer of the Dalish Cavalry. Not a good time for them indeed. Uruk-hai Infantry moving over here to support a 2nd Battalion of Uruk-hai Infantry who are in the process of cleaning up these Forlorn Marines. Look at the percentages there. It's relatively even, about 5%. Karis Galathon Guardians, and I think it's just the Karis Galathon Guardians so far. So Lorien has suffered a lot in the opening stages of this battle, so they're going to be quite cautious. So they're only going to move forward with one of their elite units instead of committing all 3 of them, which is a good idea. There's still so many tools that the defenders have that can destroy elite units very, very quickly. So yeah, moving in one at a time. Tis a good idea. Let's see what we got here. Some Dalish cavalry. Oh, wow. In the time it took us to, like, move 10 feet, they actually moved over to another position and are supporting Lothlorien. And coming in from behind here against the Hirdiouth, who are on the verge of breaking. Oh, man, those Hirdiouth units. Just about at the point of collapse. Many of them being cut down here, being sandwiched between the Dalish cavalry and the remaining runic infantry. Over here, Lothlorien Swordmasters and what remains of Lothlorien's heavy infantry pushing against the Hirnax Spearmen, but they're in a great position here. And in their shield wall, this is not going to be fun for them. What do we got here? Harlandon Guard taking it on the chin from the Sapphire Bladesmen. That's going to be enough to dislodge them, drive them back a little bit farther up the hill, relieve momentarily at least some of the pressure on Lucky Asar and his ally Lothlorien. Although I think the Blackguard here would probably be a good idea as well. Ooh, some nasty javelin volleys straight up the hill. That's going to claim many, many lives indeed. I think he might have taken some of the catapult units with them as well. Let's see what we got here. Uruk-hai Infantry charging their way through the Forlorn Marines that they just managed to break. And now a new front is going to open up against the defenders. So the defenders are really quite heavily committed over to this side. And the Dalian Cavalry is moving up, trying to prevent the Noldorian Guard from being able to retreat. Maybe even catching up some of the Mithlon Marines in the retreat as well. That would be a great catch for the attackers, being able to surround and potentially destroy those units. Down here, the Corsair Archers have just broken, and now Dale and Isengard are going to be free to push farther up the hill. Dale, it looks like he's going to be pushing on 2 lanes here at once, keeping the defenders busy in multiple places. Over here, the Corsair Pikemen, this wonderful last stand here by the Corsair Pikemen has really paid off, and now the Numenorian Shield Guard are marching to their aid, which is really, it's a good sight if you're a defending Corsair Pikeman, seeing these elite, deadly Numenorians walking down the hill, and you know your enemy's going to be in for a bad time. Up here, it looks like Delupeng, Yim, and Dwyer, so the Yelvan Rangers, not in the greatest shape. Unfortunately, it looks like they've been focused down quite heavily, so they're now down to about a quarter of their fighting strength. Mithlon Pikemen over here also getting kind of caught up in this skirmish fight, so a lot of them are going to fall quite quickly. Harlandon Guard and the Amberzendi Nardatari, just a ton of archers up here. If only this is why it it's really a shame that the attackers didn't have some kind of artillery, because the defenders are so bunched up. They could really make them pay for this if they had a catapult, but unfortunately none of them deigned to bring one, so yeah, that's not very good for them. Can't really capitalize on their enemy's weakness in these kinds of situations. My 30 last gallon, who I think still have ammunition, along with some Lothlorien Swordmasters, doing their best to push through the Hiriek, but if my 3 last gallon have ammunition, it might have been a better idea to pull them back and then just use them to target down the Hiriek. In the back here, Variag Mercenaries. Ooh, a little bit of lag. Ack. Firing point blank into the Corsair Blackguards. Corsair Blackguards might be trying to get themselves in loose formation, or they could be trying to retreat. But they can't have too much ammunition left at this point. They've been firing for quite some time. Belkoth's Sapphire Bladesmen, unfortunately, out of ammunition, so they can't lend a hand in that regard. Ooh, it looks like that catapult here is being focused down by some Sylvan Rangers that I didn't know the DF Lister had. Yeah, those Sylvan Rangers, if they're allowed to fire and the defenders don't notice it in time, they could potentially cripple this High Elven catapult unit. Just look at these guys die. Yeah, something to note about the Ranger units is that they have body piercing, which is a little bit of like a fantasy gameplay contrivance, but it does give the Rangers a really powerful role in the battlefield, in that they can punish you very heavily for blobbing up, and they're excellent against lightly armored foes without a shield, just like these High Elven catapult crew. Looks like the Yaragway Nanwaith being brought to bear, and I think maybe they're going to go after those the Sylvan Rangers, who are in a great spawn here. They're getting a little bit closer than I think I might have. And it's going to make them very, very obvious. I think over here, it's not quite as apparent. They could just be any unit. Very easy to get kind of lost in the mix. Bringing them closer like this, it is kind of asking to get shot to pieces. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, the Sylvan Rangers and their DF Lister, reforming. They're ready to take another bite out of that High Elven catapult. That would be a huge win for the attackers. So this catapult has really just been quite nasty. Ooh, beautiful shot there into the Uruk-hai infantry. Let's get it. Oh, close up. A lot of Uruk-hai just falling apart in a literal blaze of glory. Third shot there. Oh, that catapult has just been so useful. It needs to be stopped. Meanwhile, over here, the Karis Galathon Guardians pushing in alongside the Trolls of the White Hand. This is going to be nasty, and this will hopefully help the attackers make a little bit of headway here. Maybe get up to this this third line of defense. That would be really, really good for them. Could shut down the catapults with their infantry for sure. So what's going on here? Looks like the Sylvan Rangers have been found out. The jig is up, and now their Elven brothers up on the hill are going to be returning fire. And against these lightly armored units, they're going to fall apart quite quickly. And this is why Rangers are a cool unit. They offensively are very deadly, but they don't have a lot of arrow defense, so it's very easy for large numbers of lower tier archers to shoot them apart very quickly, and especially holds true for the Elven archers, who are extremely accurate. Let's see over here. Hirdi Peng charging down the hill now out of ammunition, alongside looks like some Mithlon Marines who still have some ammo. Wonder what they're going to go after. I think that's like one Dalian cavalry guy. Oh, I think he's going for the... No! Go for the catapult! Are you crazy? Oh, that's unfortunate. Speaking of the catapult, the defenders are really pulling out all the stops to try and destroy it. But, yeah. I don't think they're going to have the opportunity. The Sylvan Rangers taking some really heavy casualties. This is going to be down the DF Lister, try and pull them out as quickly as possible. Otherwise, he is going to lose them. I'm not sure what he's going after either. Maybe the Harlan on guard, maybe the Mithlon Marines, I don't know, but those Rangers need to fall back for sure, or he's going to lose a valuable asset. Anyway, moving back on to the choke points. Ooh, a little bit of lag. Oh man, those Isengard infantry, they need to move. Come on. Hirdi Peng here, some much needed reinforcements for the defenders. More Uruk-hai infantry pouring in. Got the Karis Galathon Guardians here, along with the Trolls of the White Hand. Wonder what those Trolls are going to do with their time. It looks like some of the Trolls are actually over here in this choke point as well, attacking the Númenórean Shield Guard and the Corsair Pikemen from the rear. That's going to be enough to send those Corsair Pikemen screaming for the hills. And Dale is looking like they're going to be able to push through. Most of the defenders are able to quickly mobilize some reinforcements to keep Dale locked down here. That's really what they want to do. I don't think they want anybody this close up here because that's where a lot of their archers are. Their archers are going to have to kind of fall back up into here, and it's not going to be as good of a firing arc. So yeah, they definitely want to hold Dale down there, but it doesn't seem like they have any reinforcements nearby. Although now that I say that, I can see a company of Noldoran Guard pushing their way down there to the aid of the Numenoran Shield Guard, and I think the Mithlond Pikemen are down there as well. And it seems like the addition of those Hiri Peng has managed to swing this fight in favor of the defenders, though there is still quite a lot of attacking infantry yet to come. I believe the Isengard still has all of their pikes and stuff like that too. Yeah, Uruk-hai pikemen still got their crossbows. And what do you know, they got some stock skirmishers as well. Let's see what we got over here. All those Sylvan Rangers, they're just getting massacred. Yeah, indeed. Probably would have been a little bit more prudent to keep them back here. The Sindar Archers now have moved in, as have the Galathrim Nobles, so there's still a lot of elites over on the Rune Lothlorien side, but this fight was really, really devastating, I think, for the attackers. Rune lost almost their entire army. They lost their general, they lost one of their elite units, and this company of Hiranek has been able to basically keep them at bay for a long time. Looks like they're going to be able to do that indefinitely. I don't see how they're going to be able to break through here on their own. Maybe the elites could be committed. The Sindar and the Lothlorien nobles could probably break through an exhausted unit of Hiranek, but bear in mind, there's a lot of support up here on this hill. So this side of the battle, I think, is gonna quiet down for a little bit. Looks like Lucky SR might still have some Variag mercenaries that still have ammunition. He's gonna do his best, but oh man, these poor Sapphire Bladesmen. I think they're getting targeted down by the Casimir's Rangers up there on the hill under Belisar. Lurtz's hunting pack coming over this way, but I think they're out of ammunition as well. Maithari Galen going after the Blackguard here, and they've done a great job of destroying that unit for the most part. But with how few there are left here, I don't think that it's a good time to keep shooting at them. I think I'd definitely go after the Mithlond Marines instead, who are raining death and destruction down upon the defenders. Let's get right down there. Let's take a look at the percentages here. They've really pulled apart in a big way. 64 to 72. That is an 8% difference, whereas previously it was a lot closer. It was about 5%. Ooh, another devastating volley from that catapult. Getting a piece of those Laketown River Patrol. Don't know if I mentioned them, but yeah, Dale has 2 units of Laketown River Patrol. It's because they can hide. I didn't see them. Earls of Esgaroth. Out in the open. This is not where I would leave them. I would probably put them a little bit over this way. Oh, what do you know if there's some Athala Rangers here, but they got destroyed by something. Ooh. Oh, landed smack dab right on that front line. The Earls of Esgaroth are gonna want to get out of there. But yeah, Dale is... It seems like they're struggling with the addition of those Noldoran Guard. Looks like some of the Snaga Stalkers from Declan got stuck in there too. But the Laketown Infantry are not going to be able to hold a candle to these elite regiments of defending infantry. They're going to need something. I think they've still got some reserves though. Yeah, indeed they do. They have a lot of. They have the Gurians Paladins, a lot of AP here in the form of the Barding Herd, who are probably one of the best halberd units in the game. Moving on elsewhere, still a bit of a stalemate here. Although the Uruk-hai are slowly losing ground. Hiranek holding their ground, and most of the Lothlorien and Runic forces have been destroyed at this point. These poor Sapphire Bladesmen really have just gotten massacred by a lot of those Rangers up there. Lurtz's hunting pack alongside the Variag mercenaries now joining the fray. Lurtz's hunting pack are actually pretty good. Like in melee, they are no joke. So they'll probably be able to kill some of these Hiriak, but I don't know. They're not going to be able to break their way through. Although with those Rangers shooting their own buddies in the back, who knows? Maybe the friendly fire will see them through, but I doubt it. But yeah, let's take stock of just what happened over here. It was a complete cataclysm, mostly for the attackers, but the defenders did lose a fair amount of troops, although comparatively less. I think the biggest difference that this made for the attackers was that it used up a lot of their missile units, and we'll see if that has any consequences for them a little bit later on in the battle. What we got over here? The Nazak-hai have moved in alongside the Uruk-hai pikemen, who are now being committed to the battle. Also Uruk-hai units here. I think there's some crossbows maybe hidden in here somewhere. Oh man, you can see those Rangers at work. This is a big mistake on the part of Declan Gardner, just coming in a big blob like this. That's asking to be shot down by the Casimir's Rangers. And you can see them targeting these guys, and it's going to be nasty. Yeah, looks like they're going after the lead company there of the Uruk-hai pikemen. Let's pop back on over to Dale's side of things. Oh yeah, they've really committed here. You can see a lot of those heavily armored Dalish elites. The Noldoran Guard running out of steam. I think that's probably because of the Snaga skirmishers really making them pay for being out in the open like that. Mythlon pikemen all but destroy the Numenorian Shield Guard are definitely going to lose this fight. And maybe the attackers are finally going to have the breakthrough that they need. Some of the Dalish archers firing into the Aberzenni Nardu Balweep. Looks like there's some Corsair archers coming down to try and support. But really these are just ragged companies that I think have come back from routing. Ooh. That was really close. That shot from the catapult there. Seems like the Karis Guardians and their allies might be making headway. They're definitely getting farther up the hill. I think the Nazakai are in there now, so they're going to be able to push quite well. Still a company of Mythlon Marines here, though. This other one is out of ammunition, but there's this third company here. Although the My-30 Last Gallon now finally targeting these guys. I'm not sure who they're tossing that at. Probably at the pikemen. See if the My-30 Last Gallon get off another volley. I don't think so. I think they're out of ammunition. Indeed they are. They pulled out their spears. Really unfortunate. But yeah, this fight here, it's still ongoing. Still a bit of a stalemate, although with the addition of those Uruk-hai pikemen, I think a lot of these really tired units are going to get pushed through, so the defenders are going to have to commit more and more resources here to fight pikes in a situation where pikes are really strong. Although the running around the Declan Gardner has made them do, they are already winded and fighting uphill, so it's not going to be great. Over here, Dale has managed to break through finally. See those Barding herd muscling their way through. The Noldoran Guard are all but defeated, on the verge of collapse. Of course, there are archers here in the Numenorian Shield Guard, dying like dogs. The Numenorian Shield Guard will not rout; they are locked morale. But the breach has been made. Now Dale is going to be able to push their way through that breach. Aberzenni Nardu Balweep charging into the Barding herd, which normally would be no problem for the Barding herd, but because of how broken they are after pushing through, they didn't take the time to reform. They're not going to be able to use their formation to their advantage, which is very unfortunate. So the Aberzenni Nardu Balweep are going to have a little bit of a field day there, getting in and amongst the out of formation Barding herdsmen. How are we going here? Looks like the defenders are actually finally going to lose this fight. Nazagai have pushed up, took a lot of damage, probably from the presence of so many of the javelin units up there. But yeah, the attackers have managed to push through here, and this line is broken. And I think they've still got some fairly hefty reserves too. Let's take a quick look around. Yeah, they've got a decent amount of units. They got some crossbows. They've got 2 more units of Barding herd, a company of Jirian's paladins, some Snaga skirmishers and stuff. Another unit of Esgaroth, some May 3 Last Gallon. Yeah, on this side they're doing okay. And there's still some Lothlorien elites still to come. Over on this side, a unit of Uruk-hai pikemen is pushed in alongside the Lothlorien swordmasters and the Sindar archers. The defenders have committed their Yarargwe Unanwites. We've got 2 generals' bodyguards here, 2 elven ranged bodyguards going toe-to-toe. Although, with the fatigue difference and how much longer the Sindar archers have been fighting, I would probably give that to the Yarargwe Unanwite. Although it might be the pikes that make all the difference here. Let's see what we got. Up here, Casimir's Rangers out of ammunition, but still just so many forces. So many skirmish forces from the defenders. Although a lot of headway being made here. If they can leverage this, they can get the Karis Galathon's units in here and prevent these Uruk-hai pikemen from being completely surrounded, and maybe push up with another unit of Uruk-hai infantry, or Dale can move up with some of their forces. Then they might be able to really put the hurt on the defenders here. Push this Harlandon Guard back. Harlandon Guard are actually being shot in the rear by I don't know what. Laketown River Patrol moving in the back there. You can see that the attackers are really going all in here. This is kind of the last gasp. And there's a big difference here, nearly 10% difference between the attackers and the defenders. But I think this is going to be the moment where we start to see the attackers start to pull it back. Aberzenni Nardu Balweep really being pressured hard by the Barding herd. It says the defeat is certain, but honestly, I would give it to the Barding herd to win this fight any day of the week. Especially with that Snaga skirmisher support. What are they even throwing at? I don't know. Yeah, this Harlandon Guard are really getting hit hard. These pikemen here are being pushed back, though, because there's no reinforcements forthcoming. I think the Nazakai are a little bit depleted. Karis Galathon's pikemen not doing so great. These Mythlon Marines are really taking it hard, though. But yeah, some reinforcements definitely needed. I would probably have pulled the Uruk-hai infantry out of here. It's not worth it to fight just a small detachment here of the representing Mardubawi. I would have pushed the Uruk infantry up to try and keep this position stable and intact. Oh man, this Carathalithon Guardians just suffering the full force of the remaining javelin units from the defenders. Let's see what's left. Some of those javelins being tossed at the main 30 last gallon, which is kind of okay. This is not being thrown at units that are more important. Small unit of Sylvan Rangers here. I think now would be a good time to commit these Earls of Esgaroth as well. Earls of Esgaroth alongside the Uruk-hai infantry that still remain here. That would go a long way to keeping those Uruk-hai pikemen intact. But I guess by now it's really too late. So they've lost their foothold up here, which is really bad for the attackers. So what's going on here down on the other side? Looks like the defenders have done something very decisive here and come around with a large number of units. Got some Corsair pikemen here, got some Corsair blackguards, and they have wiped out Lothlorien swordmasters. I think even the Sindar archers are fleeing as well. So that's going to leave just the Galathrim nobles, which are a formidable unit, don't get me wrong, but if they suffer some direct javelin volleys from those Corsair blackguards, they will not last very long at all. And they're really exposed right now. They're kind of in loose formation, trying to get themselves back into something a little bit more compact so that they can push through the Corsair pikemen, which they're doing a good job at, but it's going to leave them open to the Corsair blackguards who are really making them pay right now. You can see all those javelin volleys coming in. It's very nasty. But yeah, that's a great move on the part of the defenders. Looks like maybe they used this path around the back here. Came down with some reserve units from this that secluded alcove over there. Came in from behind and destroyed what remains of the attacking resistance here. Although I don't think any of those. Oh, the Hiranek. There's still 2 of them left. There's still 2. That's amazing. My 30 last gallon from DF Lister taking position up here on the hill. Doesn't look like the Ardway non-Wythe want to push their way up there, and probably because of the presence of these Barding herd here as well. So a lot of reinforcements being rushed over to this side to try and prevent a massive breakthrough and encirclement that will certainly see the end of the attackers' ambitions to take this city. Let's see what we got here. Some Snaga skirmishers, some more Barding herd, another company of Barding herd, seemingly endless hordes of them have been brought by Dale. Got some Girian's paladins as well. Ooh, a little bit of lag. And up here, this position is quickly becoming untenable. The Nausicaa are being driven back. Carathalithon's guardians are all but destroyed, although at least the defenders are almost out of ammunition for their javelin units. But damn, it's really made a difference here. But look at that. They're much closer now. They're actually no, they're about 8% apart. So I guess they are a little bit closer than the 10% that we saw earlier. Oh, and that's climbing too. See how we're doing down here. Representing Mardubawi have, as expected, been destroyed by the Barding herd, but the Barding herd are now exhausted. Snaga skirmishers making a solid contribution here, but the Dale infantry they're very tired at this point. Now some reinforcements. Actually, look at this. A lot of the reinforcements being emptied out of the town square and being thrown against what remains of the attackers. Looks like the defenders want to finish this. They're going for something decisive. They've already wiped out a significant number of the attacking armies, and they're in the process of just pushing their way through some of the reinforcements that they sent over to try and hold them. It looks like the Corsair pikemen have been destroyed. Galathrim nobles took some pretty hefty damage there, but they're going to come up against the Corsair blackguards, and that's going to silence them for the time being. But yeah, for the most part, the attackers have been pretty well destroyed on this side. Looks like got some warg skirmishers over here who are out of ammunition. I think maybe they were used to help the nobles against the pikes, which makes sense, and that'd be a good idea. Well, let's see what we got here. I think that this would be a really good idea to use those warg skirmishers to try and destroy those blackguards, and then run cycle charges on the rear of the Yari non-Wythe. I think that's probably the best use of this cavalry, and that would really make the defenders pay. Like, they might even affect a breakthrough. Or at least pull a little bit of the defenders' attention away from the fight over here, where Dale is really just committing everything that they've got left. They're on their kind of last legs here. The Snaga skirmishers and I think some of the Lake Town River Patrol have massacred that unit of Hiri Lang, and now they're tossing into the rear of the... actually, they're kind of hitting their own units there, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I see what they're trying to do. I think these Mython Marines would probably be a better target, though. Let's see where those warg skirmishers are. Yeah, they're coming over this way. This is not what I would do with them. I mean, they're throwing them against... these are spear units. Like, the My 30 last gallon are no joke. They will put the herd on warg units really, really quickly. Maybe they're trying to use the mass to push their way through. I think that's probably the rationale here, but I think they would be better off running those cycle charges into the rear of these other units here. Looks like the Blackguard have been driven off with fairly substantial losses, about a fifth of their strength, but now they've come back, and the Galathrim nobles are going to suffer the consequences. I mean, shooting into the rear of the Yaragwe Nanwaith, I wouldn't have done it. I would have gone after the Blackguards and just pursued them as far as I could. And that way, when it comes time to fight the Yaragwe Nanwaith, then they're a little bit more separated. And then you're not losing a whole ton of your units to javelin fire, which is the opposite of what you want to do. But yeah, those wargs would really be useful right about now. They might be able to turn this fight around, but unfortunately, that is not going to happen. And it looks like Lister is going to make another mistake here. And it seems like he's going after the Yaragwe Nanwaith, which I wouldn't have done. I wouldn't have tried to fight both of them at once until I absolutely had to. And that's actually causing his Galathrim nobles to take a lot of damage to the Corsair Blackguards who are nearby to support. So very unfortunate there. Big mistake, I think, on the part of Lister with one of his last remaining units. Work skirmishers unfortunately being massacred, and that mass push is not doing what they want it to do. Lots of javelins coming in. I think they're going after the Yardatheliani Nanwaith and also after the Mithlon Marines. Yeah, Dale really has the only significant... the forces that Dale has are the only real significant threat left to the defenders. And there's quite a lot of them. But if they find themselves encircled, that's not going to be good. Because it looks like... Oh, there goes Isengard's general. That's really bad for Isengard. The Snaga skirmishers could still be very useful, but this close to the front lines and with how tired they are, it's entirely possible that they will break en route without even being engaged. Let's see what we got over here, what I was looking at. Yeah, the Galathrim nobles being cut to pieces. Managing to kill a fair amount of the Yaragwe Nanwaith, to be fair. And I've done a decent amount of damage to the Corsair Blackguards as well, but yeah, that's just... I don't think that the Galathrim nobles were really used all that well. I think that Isengard should have been over here supporting them with the wargs, because they would have made a far greater impact than otherwise they have, pushing against the front of spearmen. There you go. The end of the Galathrim nobles, trying to cut down as many of these Yaragwe Nanwaith as possible, and trying to keep their enemies busy, while Dale desperately tries to hammer their way through the remaining defending forces. Snaga skirmishers over here, doing their best to hold back the tide alongside the Warg skirmishers, and there's just kind of the leftovers being thrown onto this left side, where Dale's real commitment is in the center, or on the right, I suppose I should say. Yeah, Mithlon Marine's not having a great time right now. But there are still some river patrol, although they are out of ammunition. Unfortunate. Rokai crossbows still in the game, however. Isengard's still got a hand to play there. A fair amount of crossbows. I wonder what they're going after. I think they're just trying to target down this blob, but there's a lot of potential for friendly fire there. Oh, I see what they're going after. Narnar Royal Guard. Not a bad idea. Got some more reinforcements here from the center. Much like the attackers, the defenders now going all in. And the unit of Casimir's Legion and the Narnar Sentinels. Still the Aur Diratham Light. I think maybe there was 2 units of them that I didn't see. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's 2 of them. And they still have ammunition, even at this late point in the battle. It's real crazy. Barding Herd being pulled off to try and stem the tide here, because you can see the defenders coming around with their Blackguard and with their General's Bodyguard. The Sylvan Rangers giving their lives to buy a little bit more time for Dale to get themselves into position. And DF Lister's got his Maethri Last Gallon here alongside the Barding Herd, but these guys need to get formed up. If they can get formed up in a choke point and make the attackers here with their exhausted infantry push uphill against these halberds, they will do very well. But I don't think they're going to be able to do it in time. And those units are going to push against the Barding Herd before they can get themselves into an effective formation, and a lot of them are going to die really quickly. Indeed, a very formation-dependent unit. I think that the Maethri Last Gallon should be committed here to try and give the Barding Herd a bit of a break and form up a solid line here so they don't find themselves surrounded. Although I suppose this is going to be all for naught anyway. We got the Wood Elves breaking through here. What remains of the Karis Galathon Spearmen trying to hold back these units. A big counter push here against Dale. I think that's going to be all she wrote for these guys. Let's take a look at our percentages here. Very close, though. Within 5% of each other. That is very good. Especially at one point in the game, I believe it was like 11% difference. So you got to hand it to the attackers. They really did their best here, and they managed to pull it back and make it a much more even fight. Didn't make it easy for the defenders at all. But I think the biggest problem was that, well, there's a few mistakes that we saw, and I pointed those out, so I won't go over them. But I think the biggest problem was the lack of artillery. As you saw throughout the course of the battle, there was just so many opportunities for an attacking catapult to get a ton of kills. And unfortunately, that was not possible for the attackers because nobody had bothered to bring it. So very unfortunate indeed. Let's go ahead and we'll fast forward just a little bit here. These Dalian forces with a little bit of help from the remaining Snaga skirmishers. Actually putting the hurt on the Nurnar Royal Sentinels. What do you know? Girian's Paladins fighting hard. Some of the remaining Dale Laketown River Patrol being committed here against Palace Guard. It's not going to go well for them. But they're really just trying to hold these guys in place for as long as they can. Meanwhile, down here, the Black Guard and the Elven Bodyguard pushing their way through the Barding Herd. But the Herd are going to exact a pretty terrible toll, I think. Let's get right down in there. There you go. You guys enjoy that very visceral Medieval 2 combat. I love it. Things feel like they have weight. And it looks like the defenders have broken through. And now they're going to swarm down against the Mythrilas Gallon and the Barding Herd and attack them from the rear. Well, that's game over. Yeah, we've got some Aridith on Lank joining the fight. Along with some other nasty units remaining from the defenders. Casimir's Legion pushing down. And then is it just the one company of Aridith on Lank? I could have sworn there was two. Maybe I'm just crazy. Mythlon Marines, they got one person left here. It's just the banner carrier. Carrying his banner for the Pride of Linden, who really suffered quite grievously here. I don't think there's really much left from Linden at this point. Yeah, Linden was basically completely destroyed. Umbar still has a fair amount of troops, but Linden, Baconfish forces really suffered quite heavily in this assault. As did Mirkwood. Mirkwood is quite depleted at this point. Let's take a look over here where the Laketown River Patrol are fighting against the elite Palace Guard. Not going well for them, as you would expect. Yeah, they're hacking their way through these patrolmen with relative ease. There goes the Lothlorien General, and this is going to be a fairly decent defender victory. I mean, the percentages are quite close. 7%. It's a little bit farther than it was before. But I think by the time they manage to take on these Jurian's Paladins and all the remains of Dale, it's going to be a little bit closer. Probably about 100 to 95, I think. I would guess. Aridith Halmon Lank have now broken free. They've been unleashed to run after anything that they want to. I think there's still some Isengard crossbows down here. Oh, never mind. The Isengard crossbows might have gotten cleaned up by something else. Of course, they're Blackguards. Oh, I see what they're doing. They're going for a complete encirclement here. Look at this. The defending forces in the center. Aridith Halmon Lank. And, ooh, some lag there. The Yariagwe Nanweth moving around to support the Blackguard. And this is going to be... There's going to be no prisoners taken here. This is going to be complete destruction for the attacking forces. Dale doing their best. The Snaga skirmishers running back and forth. Not really sure where to go. And indeed, there is nowhere safe. Urukai crossbows. There they are. Getting picked apart by the Blackguards. The Snaga stalkers running around in a panic is obviously unnerving the more elite Urukai. And they're on the verge of collapse as well. Got some Athala Rangers in there, fighting with the Corsair Blackguards. Nice little last stand here. Looks... I don't know whose general that was. It was hard to see. Maybe Dale's general. Urukai crossbows now routing. Athala Rangers now on the verge of collapse as well. Well, of course, their Blackguards fleeing and trying to catch up with any of the crossbows that they can. Earls of Esgaroth breaking. Casimir's Legion in pursuit. And there you have it. A fairly close battle. That's going to be an admit defeat there from Dale. And that's going to be all she wrote. I know many of you guys were really hungry for a siege, and I hope this satisfies your appetite for the time being. Let's take a look at some of the kills here, since I do forget to do that sometimes. Actually, hold on. I want to take a look at what everyone got. 3,000 kills for the 2 Elven factions. That's really impressive. 2,500 for Belisar. The attackers did reasonably well, I gotta say. You guys can take a look at that, and then we'll take a look at some of the kills. 294 on a unit of Mithlon Pikemen. Nearly 300 on the High Elven Catapult. It really paid for itself, and there was nothing that could stop it. They had a few opportunities, I think, to shoot them, especially with those Sylvan Rangers from their DF list here, but it seems like he changed target and didn't kind of put the final nail in the coffin there, which really cost them a lot over the course of the battle. 300 men. That is no joke. That's actually the highest killing unit in the entire Linden army. Well, almost. I suppose the Mithlon Pikemen got a little bit more, but yeah. So that would have been a really big thing for the attackers to shut down. But in any case, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you guys will join me for whatever comes next. And by the way, our challenge video, I'm really looking forward to them, so I hope I get some replays from you guys. If not, I mean, it happens, and maybe we'll try it again later. But yeah, I really want to know if there's interest for the challenge videos, because I think that it really does make for some more interesting content, and it really allows you guys to get involved with the channel and be a even bigger part of it than you already are. So